Pretty much tragedies the last 2 weeks from our guys.
And you said it comes in threes, I remember.
That's what they say. It comes in threes.
Robert, what's this preparation been like for Mikey? I know he's obviously moving up and becoming a bigger fighter. I heard he's been sparring Falcao. How's that been going?
Look, that's the big difference. You know, he's different sparring big guys, Falcao and
Carlos Adames.
Carlos Adames. You know, they're both pretty heavy right now, but they're giving him good work. You know, Falcao has been giving him really good work, and Mike's been able to hang in there with him. You know, so is Alexis Rocha, who's also very talented. One of the top prospects, welterweight. So, that's a big difference.
How's Mikey carrying the weight? How's he?
Well, look, it's pretty interesting because we didn't expect him to be able to do what he's doing in the ring with these guys. You know, there's times where he plans out to push him back and back him up, and he's able to do it. And we asked Falcao, did you purposely let him do it? He's like, no, I can't back him up. I can't. He's just too strong. Falcao tells us, he just can't do it. He's that Mike is just too strong right now.
How about movement-wise?
Oh, that's one thing that we're doing a lot. Obviously going side to side, a lot of lateral movement, and that's he's been doing it perfectly.
What concerns you guys most about the fight coming up on the 16th?
Well, look, Mikey's been there, many championship fights. Obviously, this is the biggest challenge, bigger guy, heavier guy. But now, to this point, at where we're at in training, nothing really concerns us, man. We know, he's going to be the heavier guy in the ring, but I don't think he's not going to be the better, the smarter guy, and that's, if we have a concern, maybe it's going to be 10, 12 pound difference, but these guys have 20-pound difference on Mikey right now, and they haven't been able to do much.
I've come to know Mikey as a pretty technical type of fighter, very sound technical. When he gets in the ring, what do you expect do you expect that same technicalities or technical fighter fighting from him? Is that what you guys are training for?
We're definitely gonna do that, especially the first few rounds, just to figure out what Errol Spence, has, is bringing into the fight. But if having to back him up and having to fight on the inside is necessary, then we're gonna do it.
Is he already on weight?
Huh?
Is he already on weight?
He was on weight when he took the fight. That's a problem. Actually, he does walk around at 155, 158. So we haven't really been trying to cut any weight yet. So if he has to lose 8 pounds, before the weigh-in, then that won't be a problem. But we're not even focused on the weight right now. He should be 5, 6, 7 pounds.
Robert, there's some talk out there that Errol's even been beating up on light heavyweights and heavyweights in sparring. If that's true, what do you make of that?
Oh, well, that's good. I don't know who he's been sparring. We're telling you guys, Mike's sparring. Silver medalist in the Olympics middleweight. He's sparring, Adames, who are, hell of a fighters, So I don't know who he's beating, but Mikey can beat up by heavyweights too. If you guys step in the ring with him, you know what I mean.
Robert, what was the biggest difference that you noticed when Mikey came back down from the snack? Obviously, he was bigger, but just I guess in the training aspect.
Well, look, it was just a different motivation, mentality. He needed that. He never done that before. And when I told him, that we were gonna have to do something like that, he was okay with it. But coming back, he was excited. He was happy. He enjoyed it, and he obviously feels stronger. He is stronger. But it's mostly his mentality is also much stronger now, more positive.
Do you feel the weight in the punches when
I do feel it. Oh yeah, I feel a difference. Definitely. He says he doesn't, but I do feel it.
He was doing a lot of fast twitch muscle training up there. Do you see a difference in his speed?
Yeah, his speed, his footwork, everything's just much better now.
How would you say power-wise, when he throws punches, does he feel like he has middleweight power?
Well, look,
you trained a lot of guys.
I've trained a lot of guys, and they, if I'm working mitts with with the middleweight, well, obviously they're heavier. You know, Falcao walking around 180, so I'm gonna feel the punch a little bit heavier. Mikey's probably around 55 right now, so the difference I'm gonna feel, but Mikey's punches are more like, I don't know. I could say, you know, it's just the way he turns it or something that, you know, it's not as heavy, but it feels. I feel it in my arms. Yeah, there you go, something like that. Crisp punches.
It's like more like a cracked, like a whip crack.
Exactly.
You guys are going up there obviously to win. But do you feel like this is a situation where no matter the outcome of the fight, Mikey can't lose?
Well, look, we know that that's probably the situation, but we're going out there to win, because I know Mikey could win, and there's no way in our mind that we think we're coming back with a loss.
From the time Mikey first brought up this idea of fighting Spence, how have your feelings about his chances of winning evolved over time?
Well, look, at first, the reason we were against the fight, not because we don't think he could win. We just you know, think that, you know, all the fighters that have done it little by little, moved up in weight, they've done it at the proper time, against the right opponents, you know, different stuff like that. But, you know, Mikey making that decision, you know, of course we first try to convince him, you know, there's so much at 135 and 140 that he could do in the next 2-3 years, and then eventually obviously go for his 5th division world title. But, you know, he wanted to do it, and he's seen it a year ago when Spence was fighting Peterson, and you know, now that I'm working as a trainer to see what we have to do to be able to win the fight, I see a lot of things, and I see why Mikey made that choice. You know, other boxing fans, you guys, you know, see Spence being a powerful guy, knocking guys out, but as a trainer, it's just totally different when you study an opponent, and you see things that your fighter could do, or things that your fighter shouldn't do, punches that your fighter should stay away from. And I think Mikey has a great chance.
Why do you think he wanted this? How much of this do you think is kind of financially motivated as opposed to maybe legacy motivated?
I don't think it's more. I think it's more of a legacy. I think Mikey took 2.5 years off, and he wants to catch up pretty much. You know, if he would have never taken those 2.5 years off, by now he probably would have accomplished a lot, but maybe not at welterweight. So he'd probably be tired and sick of the sport, maybe because of all the politics involved. Now that he's in control of his career, he's got more goals. He wants to accomplish so much, and his 5th world title is going to be huge, and believe me, he's going to go after the 6th one. I guarantee you that, because that's just what Mikey is.
You know, it seems like right in every division right now there probably isn't as much depth as, say, there was when you were fighting, right? Where, you know, every division was 4, 5, 6 guys deep. Do you find it unfortunate in some ways that he has to kind of make this jump 12 pounds north to, you know, kind of establish how good he is? Well,
look, there is other fights at 35 or even 140 that could prove, you know, what he wants to prove, but it's just right now with different promoters and TV networks that you just can't make those fights happen. Even if you want them, or even if the other guy's calling it out and that's the fight I want, well, he knows that fight's not going to happen anytime soon. So Mikey didn't want to wait. Mikey wanted to go after the best challenge out there, and you know, it was easy to make. You know, they both fight for PBC, so that was the easiest fight to make.
Did it surprise you at all that Mikey had that type of motivation in him? You know, because I think the impression that he's given people, right, especially after the Top Rank thing, is he's a smart business guy. You know, he's maybe, you know, he can kind of take his emotions out of situations, but it kind of seems like this is a thing, again, like you said, it's kind of more legacy driven. Right.
Well, that's, you know, Mikey wants to be remembered as one of the best, maybe the best of this time, and that's what he wants. That's what he has in mind, and I think that's why he decided to choose this fight. You know, other guys that move up in weight obviously look for maybe, even though at welterweight that might not be an easiest one out there, but you know, we could have maybe waited a little bit longer and make the right choice. But Mikey wanted to fight the best, and because he wants to be recognized as the best. He wants to be going out in history, and you know, 100 years from now, people to remember that Mikey was one of the best.
Did he always have that in him?
I think he got that after that 2.5-year layoff. He got that fire. But before, he never, even when he won titles, he beat Salido, he beats Rocky Martinez. For him, it was just like another win. He never got excited about any of those ones.
Robert, could you share with us some of the things you do see in Spence that Mikey can take advantage of?
Look, Spence is a hell of a fighter, man. You know, Mikey just has to fight a very smart fight and very, pretty much a perfect fight. Spence is fast, strong. He's obviously going to be the bigger man. So there's, there's not much. But, inside the ring, Mikey will take advantage of those little things.
What's the reaction you've gotten from like the boxing public? Just trainers, fighters, kind of like the talking about this fight.
Lately, what I've been hearing lately is a lot of boxing people, a lot of fans are picking Mikey. It's weird because at first nobody gave him a chance, but lately it's been more like people are coming to believe what Mikey really is and what Mikey's gonna do in the fight. And it's not gonna be easy. Like I said, Mikey has to fight a perfect fight, but I think he's ready to do it.
Sugar Ray Leonard told us yesterday. We asked him about it. He picked Mikey, and we asked him why, and he said because he's Mikey.
And that's I could tell you guys so much about Mikey, but inside the ring, just like every opponent that Mikey has faced, we obviously talk after the fights. We go to the locker rooms and talk. And one thing they've always said is, man, until you're inside the ring, you don't know what you're going into with Mikey. On the outside, Mikey's basic, it's beatable. But until you're inside the ring with him, that's the big difference. And we've known since Mikey was like 15, 16, what Mikey was doing in sparring when we used to bring him to LA. It was just different. Not one of those fighters that would catch the attention of everybody else, but those that paid attention would see what Mikey really is.
Personally, how is this, I guess, fight for you? I mean, obviously you've been in huge fights before, but this is your brother, you know what I mean? He's in the biggest fight of his career where at first no one picked him to win. I mean, we're getting to the moment, you know what I mean? What's the gravity moment just personally for you?
Look, until now, we're still, pretty much the same. When Fernando's days, I'm fighting on, headlining pay-per-view events against. Then we went against Pacquiao twice, Mayweather twice. We've been in, some of the biggest events, but until now, I'm still pretty much the same, just like any other one. I'm sure the week of the fight, being there, obviously that's my little brother, so it's gonna be huge for the family. It's just huge, the whole family. A win is gonna be, the biggest win, and the biggest thing that could ever happen to the family.
You have all Riverside partying in this spot right here.
We get a lot of support. I know. There's. Actually, yesterday I was driving to Oxnard because I had to go to Oxnard for a funeral, and I was driving and somebody's parked right next to me and starts honking. And I go roll my window down. He's like, I got my flights to Dallas. I'm gonna be there. Team Mikey, and I had no idea who he was. But, we get a lot of support. That's really cool.
Speaking of Oxnard, you brought your camp from Oxnard out here. What's been the difference, and have there been any advantages coming up being out here?
I think that was the best thing I could have done. Being in Oxnard, I just left Oxnard right now. I have friends in Oxnard.
That was a long drive.
It was a long drive. That's where I'm from, and we love Oxnard. But I think that was the best thing I could have done. I had my big gym in Oxnard with so many fighters, and I was working really good with all the Russians, we could say, Eastern European guys, with Igis Klimas. But since I made the move over here, all my fighters, they're all my fighters. I don't have to worry about having to fit them in different places. They all live here. They all do camps together. They eat together. They run together, and I'm in control. Every single fighter in here, they're my fighters. I'm not worried about their manager taking them somewhere else. Like that's what's been happening in Oxnard, you know, since I left. You know, some are with this guy, some are with the other guy, and moving around. And I would have hated that to happen if I was still there.
Sure.
You know, here I have control, man. They're all my fighters. They all love being here, and I make the decisions for them.
Robert, who's the first person to recognize greatness in Mikey?
I think it was my dad. I think it was my dad, because you know, at first none of us thought Mikey was gonna be a boxer, and just having like 9 or 10 amateur fights, we put him in the Junior Olympics, and with 9 or 10 amateur fights, he made it to the very finals, and was beating guys that, you know, had over 100 fights. So my dad was the first one, 'cause at that moment I wasn't too much into boxing yet. My dad was still, you know, pretty much Mikey's trainer, and he's the one that seen it and supported him 100% through Mikey's goods and bads. My dad always supported him.
You mentioned earlier.
How old was he? I'm sorry, just to finish
Mikey,
that.
well, you know, fighting in the amateur when he went to the Junior Olympics, he was like 15, because it's a 15-16 tournament, yeah. Because he was 14 when he had his first amateur fight.
You mentioned earlier that he was your little brother. When does being the older brother trump being a trainer?
When does the older?
When does being the older brother trump being his trainer?
I don't get it.
When does being his older brother take over from?